Hey guys, Ben here working on your swing analysis and saw a couple things that I want to work on with you, so let's go ahead and get started here. First thing, if I back it up in regards to our starts, very athletic and very strong. A couple things I want to do is when you start 50-50, we don't get anything loaded. We don't go back at all. And I think it's very important when we go to swing that we have something that gets going back. The other thing I'll notice too is there's a huge amount of bat movement. And what happens is if you have too much movement, you're going to get caught in between that movement and your timing. You're not going to be ready to hit. So I personally am going to give you a couple of things that I would work on from a professional standpoint. Doesn't mean you got to do them, but things I would recommend that are going to make you more successful. But again, these are just optional items for you to take with what you want to do with them. But I think there's too much bat movement. And the reason I say that is because what happens is when you go to launch, your hands sometimes don't get in the right spot. So on faster pitching, they're not going to be consistently in the same spot when there's that much wiggle and movement in your hands. There's not a lot of guys that have that much hand movement. So just be cautious. I would rather be ready to hit earlier, so I'm on time. I have a better chance and opportunity to hit, to be more consistent. But that's just something I would recommend. When you go into your launch position, your hands and your grip aren't really in a correct spot. So when you go into your what's called our stride foot, you can see that your arm is being lifted up. You want to make sure that your door knocking knuckles are lined up, that your hand has a better angle for your bat. So at this point of our swing, I would want your hands probably just a hair back over here, and I want to drop that barrel down to where it would be more in this angle. But make sure that you can see that your knuckles are kind of not all together, and they're kind of turned, and they're not as strong as they could be. So make sure that your door knocking knuckles are lined up, that there's no space in between your hands, and the hands are the barrels in your fingertips, and they really create that more of a bat whip and more of a generating that bat speed. I think is going to really help you in regards to generating a little bit more power. The other thing I see on your lower half, you notice how you start pretty good with your knees kind of in between our legs, but as you get loaded up, all your weight really gets transferred to the back foot. But I want you to turn that back foot in a little bit. So instead of your foot kind of looking like this, kind of move that heel over here, and that's going to kind of turn this back foot in and turn that back knee in a little bit, which I think is going to help you. So if I go here, I don't really create. You kind of put your foot up and back down, but we're not really getting ourselves strong because both legs are pretty straight. So if you freeze this, a couple things that are happening that are going to take away power. One, your back knee's too straight. You're kind of standing up. You got to be a little bit more athletic. And then two, on that front foot, you can see it's kind of opening up already. So the front hip will go, and then that front toe, I'm not landing strong. I'm landing a little bit weak. I'm landing more on the outside part of my foot. The front foot's already turned up too much or turned out towards first base too much, and that doesn't give me a lot of power. When you're really strong, I think we can get a lot more out of your swing and have the ball go a lot more, have a lot more carry to it, and hit the ball a lot stronger. So one thing that I would do is when you go to land foot, let's take your heel. Instead of it kind of your foot looking like this, let's have your heel be here. And let's have you land just on the big part of your big toe, just on the inside part, so you're really pushing against it. So you have something really firm to hit against. And you always want to hit against a closed, firm front side whenever you're hitting. And that's you can get away with that on slower pitching, but on really fast pitching, you won't be able to get away with that. So at contact's in pretty good shape right here, one of the better ones at contact here. A little bit front, I would like to see a little bit more space in between those knees here. When your knees get too close together, that takes away power. So I would probably just be not up on your toe, but I would be more on the ball of your foot here, and that's going to move this, have a little bit more separation. Also, if you take that front foot and you don't have it to where the heel is pointing the foot like this, where it's more like this, or actually have the foot up more, have the foot more like this. Bring your heel. Have your heel be more over in this area. That's going to create some more space, and have one knee here and kind of one knee over here. So it's going to create some space. That creates leverage for you, and that's really important in regards to your swing. But as far as for mechanics are in pretty good shape. Again, nice and strong. Too much bat movement. You got to change your hands. See how those those hands aren't lined up. There's a little bit of space. Your thumb's coming out. We've got to get stronger at this point of our swing. Kind of have your hands up in here, have them a little bit more away from our body. Create some better angle. Get a stronger, a better grip that kind of really lines up those door knocking knuckles to really get my hand and throw that barrel. Get ready to really launch that thing when we're going to go into our land foot. So when we go into land foot, you can actually see when you pick up your foot, it actually goes down in the same spot, which is okay. The only problem with that is it's actually closer because of your foot turns in and open. So if I draw a line on where your stride is from the start compared to where it is, your actually knees are closer together. But you can see at this point of our swing, you have both heels off the ground. And what happens is when both heels get off the ground, then I'm going to transfer all my energy into my arms, and then I'm not going to have a lower half to hit with. So there's so much more potential in your arms and in your legs to really work together to make this ball travel and fly a lot farther. You can see that those knees are really close together. So make sure when you stride that you actually take a stride, get really athletic, get on your legs more, and that's going to make a huge difference. I would really work on taking pitches where you're going to stand in on pitchers and really have good takes. I'd work on tee work where you kind of just hold your finish at the end and check your knees out. You can see this back leg is too straight. When that back leg is too straight at the end, that's going to create everything in my arms to be just all upper body. So we can really get a lot more carry on your ball if you're going to focus on your lower half a lot more. So you want to focus on to being more athletic, turn the toes in a little bit, change your grip, get yourself in a better foundation to work from, and it's just going to make a really big difference in regards to your swing. So I look forward to progressing on how this comes about and how you work forward with this. But you can see in that foot as it comes up, and this is a ball, but you can see how we just have our upper body. And make sure we're trying to swing only at strikes, but you can see this is a good indication of why we don't have a lower half. We can have such more of a lower half with this that's going to make a big difference in your swing. So I look forward to the next video to see how you've been doing working on this, and we'll chat soon.